All right, so Metabolic Labs. This is a custom panel that I put together, I designed based on the information that I really wanted, the baseline information I really wanted to see with our women, with our clients. And so you may be familiar with some of these things, and you can get some of these through your traditional doctor, but this combination is more in depth than what they run. And typically you would have to go to multiple specialists to get this much depth of information and this variety of information. So we're really putting together something unique here. And my goal is to get a really good baseline of your health and what changes we need to make with diet and macros. This information can all be gleaned from this metabolic panel. So I'm going to run through it and show you what all we're looking at in this panel. And again, some of this may look familiar, some of it may not, but this is our baseline custom panel that we're running for most everyone. So we start out with an anemia panel. And again, it's more than just looking at the iron level. We're looking at your ferritin, which is your iron stores. So not just what you currently have, but also what you have in reserve. We do a couple, if we're not doing a micronutrient test, we'll test a couple nutrients, folate, vitamin D, and B12. Then we're looking at a more in-depth cholesterol panel. Again, you probably have gotten your cholesterol tested a lot, but you probably haven't gone in depth into things like homocysteine and Lp(a), more advanced markers for risk for heart attack and overall risk for heart disease. So these are really important metrics there. Okay, and then we do a more in-depth blood sugar panel. So again, instead of just looking at A1C, we're looking at your fasting glucose. We're looking at this glycolated protein, and then also your fasting insulin, really important. Sometimes I'll see, a good A1C, but really high insulin. And then this adiponectin is another marker for insulin resistance. So again, a more in-depth blood sugar panel as well. Hepatic function, liver and kidney function, a full thyroid panel. This is so important. So many people are missing full thyroid panels. They're literally just running TSH as a doctor. And if you were to look at this person, this is a great example actually, because if you were to look at this person's TSH, it would be perfectly in range. Even in an optimal, more functional range, this TSH looks beautiful. But when you actually ran their entire panel, we found that they had thyroid antibodies, indicative of a thyroid autoimmune disease. So much more to uncover when you're running a full thyroid panel rather than just TSH. Then we're looking at our hormones, all kinds of estrogen, progesterone, FSH, LSH, cortisol, like looking at your adrenals. These are a really good just snapshot of what's going on. We do have a more advanced hormone test that I prefer. This is really more just a snapshot. It's not as in-depth as we could get, but again, it tells me, it'll give us a red flag if something's going off. And then a few other markers that I just threw in that I like to look at. Again, another nutrient marker, magnesium, erythroid sedimentation rate. It's another inflammation marker. And usually we're also running a CRP. That's an alternative for an inflammation marker. And then leptin is a satiety hormone that we can check and see if that's in range. This one actually looks like it is out of range. And when it's out of range, we may be experiencing something called leptin resistance, which means your body is not getting the right feedback that it needs for telling your body to stop eating. So a really interesting marker. So that is, and sometimes we'll make some variations based on the person, but this is our pretty standard metabolic panel. So again, really in-depth look at a lot of baseline things. So, just based off this information, I already know where I'm going to start making some interventions and tweaking the strategy for this client's diet and weight loss. All